Welcome to the Richardville Report with Senator Randy Richardville. This program comes to you from Lansing each month, bringing you up to date on issues that impact Southeast Michigan. This week's topics include mortgage foreclosure aid, community services, and home energy solutions. And now, let's join Senator Richardville and his guests.
Hi, this is State Senator Randy Richardville. Welcome to the Richardville Report. It's no secret that Michigan has been hit hard by the foreclosure crisis. My next guest will help tell us what the Michigan State Housing Development Authority is doing to help protect homeowners right now from losing their piece of the American dream. First of all, back on this show is Mary Townley. She is the director of the Michigan State Housing Development Authority's Home Ownership Division. Thank you for being here, Mary. We certainly welcome you. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And we have somebody new to the program, Pastor Ben Sandin, who is a minister with the King of Kings Lutheran Church in Shelby Township and a leader of the Step Forward Michigan Faith Partnership. Welcome, Pastor Sandin.
Thank you.
This is a really interesting program. I'm pretty excited to ask you some questions so that we can learn more about it. It's kind of a public faith partnership, and I know places of worship are places where people come. Sometimes there are problems and they try to help one another out. I know that's part of your challenge is helping homeowners as well, Mary, and you've been on the show talking about that before. Would you please give us a few minutes worth of what is Step Forward Michigan, please?
Step Forward Michigan is a program, a federally funded program for the state of Michigan. The main goal is to assist homeowners that are struggling to maintain their home. We've created numerous programs to assist those homeowners that may be either underemployed or unemployed. Some of the homeowners may have gotten behind on their mortgage payments, and this Step Forward program will help them catch up and get back on track.
That's great. I know when I was the chairman of the banking committee for the Michigan Senate a couple years ago, for about 4 years or so, we did a lot of work when the crisis really hit. And I know you've been instrumental in helping. And this program, from what I've been hearing, is also very, very helpful. It's just that a lot of people don't know about it, and that's the reason that we're here today, is to try and help them. And Pastor Sandin, can you tell us a little bit about the Step Forward Faith Michigan Partnership and how you and your church are involved in it?
Sure. Well, I first became interested in the issue of foreclosure when members of my congregation began to lose their home. I'm also part of an organization in suburban Detroit called the Metro Coalition of Congregations. It's a group of pastors and churches that are coming together to help make positive change in our communities. And as we began to talk as leaders, we learned about the Step Forward program in Michigan, but we didn't know the details. So we had a meeting with Mary and other leaders from MSHDA, learned about the program, and found that one of the issues that was happening is people just didn't know about the program, as you mentioned, and how could we as faith leaders help share this information to get the word out so that families could get the help they needed with the programs that are already in place. So we met with Mary, we're able to put together a video that actually talks about the issue of foreclosure, why it's so difficult for families, and points them in the direction of the help that Step Forward Michigan offers.
Great. So the video is, I understand, just a couple minutes long. And why don't we just take those minutes right now, go ahead and watch the video, and then we'll be right back.
People are hurting these days, and foreclosures affects members of my congregation. It affects members of our community.
One Sunday, before I started my sermon, I asked the question, how many of you have been affected by the foreclosure crisis? You're either in foreclosure or you know someone in foreclosure. And over 50% of the hands went up. 50%.
The biggest barrier for people to get help, I think, is shame. They feel ashamed that they've lost their home. They feel like it's their fault.
I believe all of us. I know myself. I'm 1 or 2 paychecks away from not being able to pay my mortgage.
The Metropolitan Coalition of Congregations took on the issue of foreclosure because it affects everyone in every community.
That's why it's incumbent that all faith traditions come together to address it. When pastors get involved in a social crisis like this, it makes the person who's going through having difficulty pay for their mortgage realize that there are others who care about them, who understand, and are going to be with them.
I would say to someone in my congregation, in fact, I have said to many people in my congregation to go to stepforwardmichigan.org.
Step Forward Michigan has helped thousands of people by putting people in touch with people that could help them through the process.
The money is available, and it's been set aside by government and nationally, but also obviously the state of Michigan for this purpose. So it is money that is exactly meant to be for the people who find themselves in that need.
Apply online and see if they can help.
There is a sense of recovery in our neighborhoods, and I think as people feel like the community will support them, there's a great deal of hope.
And in the end, you have to have a community of people who are willing to come together.
I think people in the foreclosure crisis are not looking for a handout, they're looking for a hand up.
Take action and get the help you need.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know that you two were involved in the making of that video. Can you tell us just a little bit about how Step Forward came about and how it got to where it is today?
It came about by a federal award from U.S. Treasury. Michigan was one of the states deemed the hardest hit. So we pulled in many of our partners, which are the banks, the credit unions, the Board of Realtors, sat down and tried to create programs that we felt were meaningful and helpful to Michigan residents. So that's where we began. We rolled out the program in 2010. We enhanced it even more in 2011. And to date, we have had over 33,000 homeowners come to us looking for help.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a large number of households. We have just touched the tip of the iceberg with that, and we felt it was important to reach out to our faith-based leaders across the state. So that's where Ben and I are now working very closely together to get that word out.
Very good. So my next questions, as we're running out of time, are going to be kind of twofold. The first one is, if you're an individual that wants to apply, I believe there is a website. You can apply online at www.stepforwardmichigan.org.
Correct.
Or you can call the toll-free number at 1-866-946-7432. So if anybody's having trouble with their homes or know of somebody that is, they can call, get information, or go to the website and get information.
That's correct.
Now the other thing is, if there are faith-based leaders, church leaders, synagogue leaders in the community, do they call the same number as well, or how do they get involved? How do we get information to them so that they can pass it on, to the people that they visit with?
The reason we made the video, our goal with the video, is actually to get a copy of the DVD and the accompanying literature that will go along with it to every church in Michigan. So we are anxious and interested to hear from churches that want to get a copy of this video to show to their congregations. But we're also just interested in talking with anyone, and they can also call the toll-free number and talk to someone at MSHDA to get the video to them. We're also going to be posting it onto YouTube so that people can go directly to the internet and view the 2-minute video that we just watched.
Great. Well, we'll put the contact information back up on the screen. Mary Townley is with the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Thank you once again for all the work that you do and taking the time to be here and visit with our audience today. Pastor Ben Sandin, a leader of the Step Forward Michigan Faith Partnership. Ben, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope that many other pastors and leaders in the community will do the same kind of thing that you're doing. I do want our audience to know before we leave that the state of Michigan expects the Step Forward Michigan Fund to help as many as 40,000 households from being foreclosed by the year 2014. This assistance is available right now, and if you or friends or family, people that you fellowship with, have that kind of a problem, need some assistance, we've got a way to help. Please call the information, call the number, or check out the website. And we thank you once again for joining the Richardville Report.
Opening presents can be fun, but are more toys really what your child needs? Instead, you can give a gift for your child's or grandchild's future. Start a college savings account with the Michigan Education Savings Program. It's something they'll use and appreciate for a lifetime. The Michigan Education Savings Program. Start your child's future today. Learn how at misaves.com.
Hi, welcome back to the Richardville Report. Our second segment features some pretty interesting things about home energy. And home energy improvement scams have cracked the nation's top 10 list of consumer complaints for the first time. This is according to a new survey by the Consumer Federation of America and North American Consumer Protection Investigators. But the state of Michigan has a home energy assessment program. It's safe, it's trustworthy, and it's available to homeowners at a discount right now. It's called Better Buildings for Michigan. And here to tell us more about this new program is Jacob Corvidae. He's the co-director of the Southeast Michigan Regional Energy Office. And we're also joined by Kathie Feldpausch, the executive vice president of the Michigan Association of Realtors. Michigan Realtors have launched a new partnership to help promote awareness about the state's home energy assessment program. So Jacob, welcome to the show today, and would you please tell us a little bit about Better Buildings for Michigan? I mean, what is it? Just tell us what it is.
Sure. Well, I mean, everyone's interested in energy efficiency. They want to make their home more comfortable. They want to save money on their bills. They want to make sure everything's safe in the house. What Better Buildings for Michigan does is it makes it easy. It pulls together, makes it easy, makes it affordable, makes it sort of a one-stop shop so that people can come to a trusted source and get good work done on their house.
Awesome. Kathie, the Michigan Realtors, I mean, I do a lot of work with the Realtors, have for many years. What are you doing to help promote this program?
Realtors are forever looking for ways to maximize the whole homeownership experience. I mean, moving is such a crazy time, and you're thinking about the new carpet, and you're thinking about all the new paint, but you might not be thinking about the window drafts, or am I going to be, what's my air bill going to look like next summer? And so we saw this as a great program for us to get involved with, both for realtors perhaps to offer as a closing gift to their clients, and we're sponsoring 6 free audits for the local associations to give away at a member meeting for the realtors to pass along to their clients, really to raise awareness about the program in a couple of different ways.
Wow, okay, now Jacob, I'm a homeowner, Southeast Michigan, and my house was built, I think, 1954 or something like that. I've had windows put in. I've had, in the basement where they put those glass block windows to help there.
Sure.
Some of the seal the doors better, put some insulation in. I mean, tell me, what does this assessment look like? I mean, do we have 20 people come tramping through the house, or exactly how does it work? If I called and said, hey, I want you to take a look and see how I can improve my home energy costs, what would it look like?
It's a pretty simple process, but it's also very interesting. It's very educational. We have a couple folks come out, usually about a 2-person crew, and they'll walk through and take a look at the house, what the home needs, and do a variety of things that look at, okay, how do we understand what this house's energy needs are? They're going to do some safety testing to make sure in terms of carbon monoxide leakage or other things around your combustion appliances that there's no safety hazards in the house. And we've actually had a lot of homes where we've ended up finding gas leaks that folks get fixed, that sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah, so the safety element's been really important and helpful there as well. But the part that gets really interesting is we also use some special diagnostic equipment. We use a thermal camera that can show where there's heat loss happening in a wall, and something called a blower door test, where you actually depressurize the house and find out where the home is leaking air. Because we're in a cold climate usually, and that the fastest way the home loses its heat is through the wind blowing and air leakage in the house. And so you spend all this money heating up the house, you're really just heating up the air, and then that air blows out. So this blower door can show where the air leakage is in the house, and these are things that you just don't find out about your house by walking around yourself. So even people who know their homes well are often going to find out new information, new ways to help that home become more efficient. And then the program combines that with a bunch of great incentives to make it easy to fix those problems.
Okay, so let's say, I make this phone call, and a couple people show up with some equipment, and they're going to go around with this gun kind of thing and tell me where it's hot and where it's not, where it should be and it's not, so to speak. And then also, you're going to depressurize the house.
Right. I mean, not in any sort of dangerous way, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like I'm in an airplane or something, to suck all the air out.
Yeah. No, there's a big fan. We close off the front door, put this huge fan on it, and the fan blows air out of the house to, I can get all technical with like what it is, but it's not really no worse than just having a very stiff breeze blowing. But then you can take something that might normally be a small air leak, and you walk around and you actually feel the breeze blowing through that crack around the window, that plumbing hole in the basement, or the attic hatch, wherever the leaks might be. And the thing is, we don't know until we do that sort of test. There's all sorts of places the home could be leaking air. And like a ship, you don't want those leaks to sink you.
But on a day-to-day basis, the leaks that we're talking about might be somewhat subtle. You might not know them.
Absolutely.
And so what you're doing is really intensifying it so that you can feel where these leaks may be, so that you can have them sealed, closed, or at least slowed down considerably, and help save the cost of heating the air. Is that right?
That's right.
Well, and what we liked about the program is that the homeowner, some of it, there's some leave-aways, and you know, right there, some light bulbs, some different things that are passed along right away. The homeowner can do some of the repairs themselves, some of the caulking and all that. Or, I mean, before the transaction, all the focus has been on financing and all that. So now you kind of have a roadmap, and you can budget out how you want to do the improvements, whether it's windows or some of these things are more costly. So the homeowner has kind of a roadmap and a budget and can look a few years out and figure out how to make the changes.
Yep.
Okay, now in the opening segment, we talked about one of the top 10 crimes in the United States now are people that are pretending to be home assessment or heat assessment, energy assessment people. How do I know when I have somebody show up at my house whether they're legitimate or not?
Sure. Well, one thing is that whoever's showing up at your door is not the person who would be doing an audit, or they shouldn't be. I've had people say that someone shows up at the door and they say, okay, I'll do an audit right now. That's almost never a sign that that's the right person. There's a variety of things. Because there's a lot of good contractors out there too. The problem with this, of course, is it sows the seeds of distrust. There's some good contractors and there's scams. To play it safe, certainly one thing people can do is call a trusted source, and one of those is the Better Buildings for Michigan program. It's a statewide program, and all people can do is just go to our website, which is mihomeenergy.org. And there we have folks who have been pre-qualified as contractors. It's a system backed by local government as well as nonprofits.
So why would I even bother looking through the yellow pages or waiting for somebody to knock at my door or asking a friend? I just go ahead right into this website, sign up online, and then somebody will show up at my door who's trained, can tell me what what needs to be done.
That's right.
and do that overall assessment. Typically, I'm told a service like this by a non-public entity, a private group, might cost as much as $350 now. So how much does this assessment cost when the state comes in and does this?
So we're able to help offset the cost for this and bring it down to $100. And as Kathie was saying, in addition to getting the audit with that, you're also getting programmable thermostat, compact fluorescent light bulbs, other energy efficiency measures to install right away. So the value of that $100 is fantastic.
So it costs you $100.
Yeah.
So I get on the website, you show up, if somebody shows up at my door, I give them $100 or credit card or write a check, whatever.
Yep.
And they give me not only a programmable thermostat and some light bulbs and energy efficiency kind of things, but then do an assessment of the entire house and make recommendations. And how much, if I invest $100, how much can I expect to save in something like this?
Well, it varies from home to home, right? But that whole process will not only bring you these items that help save you money right away, but also gives you access to these rebates to do deeper changes. We typically see people saving, on average, $235 a year off of this. We've seen other folks saving as much as $800 a year from participating in the program.
And is everybody in the state, every homeowner allowed to participate? Who's eligible?
Anyone in the state is welcome to come to the website, and we can link them up with what programs are available. There's slightly different programs available in every different part of the state, depending on what utilities are there, what different local programs are running, but we can hook them up with that. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, unfortunately, and it goes by fast, but we're out of time. Jacob, thanks for telling us about this program. I'm excited about it. I'm going to get on the website. I'm going to call, even though I had insulation, some other things done a few years ago. I don't think that $100 investment is going to be a bad one. And Kathie, of course, on behalf of the Michigan Association of Realtors, you visited today. Thank you to you and all the realty team throughout the state of Michigan. The Better Buildings for Michigan Home Energy Assessment Program is available to homeowners across the great state of Michigan right now through the end of this year, December 31st. So don't wait for the winter to get here. Go ahead and make the phone call. Get on the website, mihomeenergy.org. Thank you very much.
25,000 mornings, give or take. is all we humans get. We spend them on treadmills, we spend them in traffic, and if we get lucky, really lucky, it dawns on us to go spend them in a world where a simple sunrise can still be magic. 25,000 mornings. Make sure some of them are pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
Hi, and welcome back to the Richardville Report. One of Governor Snyder's, and in fact a priority for the entire state of Michigan, is helping our cities to become more vibrant and engaging through a new concept called placemaking. We'll be talking with two of the state's leading experts on placemaking in the final segment of today's show. First of all, we have Joe Borgstrom, who's the Director of Downtown and Community Services for the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Welcome, Joe. It's nice to have you on the program.
Thank you, Senator. Glad to be here.
Well, that's good. And we also have Jamie Schreiner-Hooper, who's the Executive Director of the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Senator.
It's good to have you both here. First of all, what is the Community Economic Development Association of Michigan? I guess it makes most sense for you to answer that question.
Yeah. Well, we are a 501c3 trade association, and we represent organizations across the state who are doing community-based economic development, or pretty much in short, we represent organizations who are doing placemaking and have been for some time across the state.
Oh, very good. Governor Snyder talks to organizations and talks about placemaking and what he calls the Michigan, or My Place, M-I, those are both capital letters, My Place Partnership Initiative. Why don't we just take a few minutes, just explain to us what is placemaking?
Would you like for me to take that?
Well, actually, both of our agencies have, or both of our organizations have roles to play. And the My Place initiative, it has two parts of that. The first is the Intergovernmental Collaborative Committee, the ICC, that the governor has convened of a lot of the state agencies, and there's a subcommittee around placemaking, which involves MSHDA, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Ag and Rural Development, DNR, and DEQ. And we at MSHDA are the lead of that group on coordinating state agencies when it comes to placemaking. And Jamie serves on another part of the group called the Sense of Place Council. I want you to share a little bit about the Sense of Place Council.
Yeah, so the Sense of Place Council is a group of a number of statewide organizations, a lot of nonprofits, Michigan Historic Preservation Network, ArtServe, the Michigan Fitness Foundation, a number of diverse groups across the state who are also very interested in placemaking. And we all come together on a regular basis, or a number of subcommittees working on different issues, and begin to look at how place impacts our state. But when you were asking what exactly placemaking is, I think probably the easiest way to explain it, and the quickest way to explain it too, is taking a place from a place that you can't wait to drive through to a place that you can't wait to get to. So it's really creating a place that is vibrant, that's strong, a place that you really want to be.
Okay. All right, I'm starting to get it now a little bit, but let me see. Okay, how does that influence economic development then? I know in Grand Rapids, I think they have a place called, I think it's called the Right Place, and so the idea was, instead of going through Grand Rapids when it was downtrodden, so to speak, businesses closed, boards up, and geez, I don't want to stop very long at this stoplight, so you're moving through it, versus, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of a neat place. Let's make a place like this out of this neighborhood or out of this area. So that's what placemaking is all about. Let's make a place where people would want to stop, make it a destination. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely, and that has a direct effect on economic development, because when it's the kind of places that people want to be, it's the kind of places that attract talent. And so as we look at economic development, one of the number one needs that businesses have is to have good talent. So if we want to be competitive in the economic development field, we have to have places that attract that talent and keep that talent here in Michigan.
Where would a community go to attract employers and promote the economic growth that we're looking for through placemaking? Help me to make that vision a reality for someone who might want that to actually happen in their community?
So a really quick place, or a really easy place to start, is looking at the community itself and bringing the community together. And oftentimes a community has assets that if you've lived in a community for many years, you as a community stop seeing. And so bringing the community together and initially taking or making a list and looking at all the assets and unique assets that you as a community have, and figuring out how to build and grow on those assets and what you would like your community to become. And once you begin to build a plan, start taking small incremental steps to put that plan really into place. And there are a number of programs and different pieces that you can use to help put that program in place. One of the things that Joe actually works on is the Michigan Main Street program. And that is a wonderful thing. In Saline, in your district, Saline has recently become a selected level Michigan Main Street program. So they're starting to take the steps to become a strong place. They have a wonderful downtown, and they'd like to really strengthen that even more. And so they're bringing volunteers together. They're working on strengthening the businesses that are already there and recruiting new businesses to come in, holding special events and marketing the area, restoring historic facades, but really doing everything that they can to strengthen the existing community that they already have and bring new people in to grow it even more.
Okay, so we're really talking about taking the community development and the industrial or the business development going hand in hand, saying the two of them work together. Where people like to go to work, they also like to go to play. That might be a way to put it. Am I getting there?
Yeah.
And Saline is a beautiful place to visit. They do have, they've gone through a downturn when the Ford Motor Company plant, that was there, left, and now they've turned around some of the economic development and more businesses coming in, but at the same time promoting and developing the community. So Saline is a great example, and there are others potentially that can happen as well. Can you tell us of some examples beyond Saline, maybe, where we've seen some of this happening?
We've seen, actually, there's a lot of examples of placemaking at both a large scale and a small scale. Not too far from your district in Blissfield, they've done a lot of work in terms of their downtown, but we also see larger stuff, Detroit on a larger scale, the riverfront that's happened in Detroit, which has really connected larger employers to those amenities that their employees are looking for. So we see it at all scales, from communities who are on the smaller end to communities on the larger end. There are a lot of different things that they can do to help make their places more attractive.
How do we turn around and create places in an urban setting where it's kind of changed, and not in a positive way over time?
Honestly, I think the way we try to look at it is these are cities of neighborhoods, and so you try to address things at the neighborhood level. And Midtown Detroit is a really good example, where here is a part of the city where essentially it's any normal way people would consider kind of mainstream apartment is leased up. You can't find a place to rent an apartment in Midtown because it's been so successful at building on its assets and making it a destination. Between the Detroit Institute of Arts and Wayne State and the hospitals down there, they've all worked together to work on those amenities of place. And so it's essentially it's leased up for all intents and purposes for apartments. So you can do it, but you've got to do it in pockets, and you got to think of it as more of on a micro level, saying what can we do in our own neighborhood to make them more attractive places.
It's an awesome explanation, but sometimes it helps to look at a video, and I know one's been prepared, so let's go ahead and look at the video right now.
But what really makes a place great is that people live there. And they have choices about where they live. Not just new homes and condos, but renovated houses and repurposed lofts. Great places build on the past. They restore historic buildings and reinvent unused spaces. They turn vacant factories into studios and galleries, unoccupied hotels into shops and restaurants, empty land into parks and playgrounds. And these things are what give neighborhoods and downtowns a sense of identity. A sense that this is something you want to be a part of.
Okay, well, that was very helpful. And before we close, let me just ask you, I know there's a place, we've been talking about websites on and off the show, but you have a website too. So let's say the people out there in their communities are saying, we'd like to help, watch our economy develop, watch our businesses grow, also watch our community hand in hand grow. What is a website where people can visit to learn more about this?
Myplace.org, MIPLACE.org. Is our placemaking website. So that's where folks can go for all different resources about how they can implement placemaking in their community.
Myplace.org. All right, awesome. Well, Joe Borgstrom, the Director of Downtown and Community Services for the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, and Jamie Schreiner Hooper, the Executive Director of Community Economic Development Association of Michigan. We'd like to thank you both for taking the time to be here and for all that you're doing to make the communities in our state that much better.
Thank you.
We'd finally like to thank you for joining the Richardville Report today. We hope you have a great rest of the week.